Hello, hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Audrey. Welcome to my live stream. Oh, happy Monday. I know it's a little weird doing my live stream on Mondays because I used to do it all the time on Wednesdays. But, I think starting off the week with painting and going live is actually a good start too. And I remember I was teaching a workshop and somebody was like, oh, you can call it like Mindful Mondays. So that's what it's going to be. Anyway, just wanted to say welcome. I also wanted to put a quick plug. If you didn't watch it yet, I just published a video just a couple hours ago about more relaxing watercolor exercises. So if you didn't know, this whole month I'm really focusing on easy beginner relaxing exercises with watercolor because I think for me watercolor has been like such a lifesaver, and and I feel like it can do the same for other people, but sometimes we forget to like we forget like how to let go. We focus so much on the outcome, and a lot of my students and followers and just people aren't looking to like sell their artwork like online or something. Like I feel like my people are really just interested in using watercolor to relax, using watercolor to practice meditation or mindfulness. So I thought it would be a good idea to put out some videos out there that will help you with that. So I released a video last week that was all about, just kind of like basic, lines and shapes and circles. And the purpose of this was just to really show you, yeah, you can practice meditation, mindfulness, relaxation, and still create something really pretty. And then today I just released a video where it was all about floral elements. So we have leaves, and I used like a color gradient. I have the 5 petal flowers here, and then these are like marigold type of flowers. But honestly, this could also be like tie-dye pattern, so you could do multiple colors. So this, we're really just focusing on the brush movement and really just letting the brush in your hand kind of like guide the meditation so that you can get lost in the movement rather than focusing on like what you're doing. You know what I mean? So anyway, please check out that video. I think it will be really helpful, and I'd love to see your work. Yeah. Hi, Stacy. Hi, Linda. Hi, Keith. Thank you so much for coming. Yes, I got a haircut. Thank you so much. Yeah, um, I just went for it. I mean, my hair has been really short before. Okay, can I tell you a really funny story before I get started painting? Because everyone always asks me, and even my hairstylist asked me, she was like, is this the shortest your hair has ever been? And I was like, no, it actually hasn't. So I have two stories, I guess. One is quicker than the other. So the first one is long, long time ago when my family moved from Korea to England, I got lice because of course I shared a hairbrush and I got lice. And so before I got lice, I had like beautiful long hair. I always wore pigtails. I was 6 years old, okay? And then after I got lice, my parents basically had to give me a buzz cut. So I had really, really short hair. I was basically, yeah, I had basically a boy's haircut. And you can see in my pictures, I go from like really happy with pigtails to really sad and bitter with really short hair. So that is technically the shortest my hair has ever been, technically. But in my more, oh, thank you, Keith. But in my more recent years, or in my adulthood, I guess. So this was after college, and I was working at Forever 21, and I'm just folding clothes, keeping the place tidy and whatnot. And then a lady walks in, and she approaches me and says, hey, I'm a hairstylist with Vidal Sassoon. I would love to give you a free creative haircut. And I'm 20, 21, 22 years old, and free haircut, okay, right? I'm making minimum wage at Forever 21. So I was like, all right, cool. So what does that mean? She's like, well, you have to come to my salon in downtown Chicago, and like you're just giving me free reign, to do something creative and fun. I promise you'll love it, kind of haircut, right? And at that time, I had really long hair, like probably down to like the back, middle of my back. So it was very long. So I was like a little nervous, but I was like, all right, like let's do something cool with my hair, right? So then we schedule a date. I go down to the salon, and I don't even remember her name, but yeah. So then she kind of points to her, supervisor or manager or whatever, and she had like one of those shaggy haircuts, right, where it's like short on top but then long on the bottom half, right? So I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. Yeah, sure, I would love a haircut like that. So then she's cutting my hair, and sorry, this is like a really long story, but so she starts cutting my hair, and then she grabs a portion of my hair and she puts her scissors at this point, like halfway up my cheek, like here. And I was like, what is happening? And then so she starts cutting it here, and she goes all the way around, basically giving me a bowl haircut. And I'm just sitting there like trying not to cry because she just chopped off like over a foot of my hair, right? She goes all the way around. But then she left, I kid you not, a little bit of, she left the length of my hair, like right here in the back of the lower part of my neck. She left the longest part of my hair, like, a good like chunk of it, and basically giving me a tail. So I had a bowl haircut and then a tail. And I was like, oh my God. And also, she took like over 2 hours to cut my hair because she was a perfectionist. She was like, here, 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 like really slowly, excruciatingly slowly. She was cutting my hair. And the entire time, I'm just sitting there again, trying not to cry. I'm surprised I didn't have to go to the bathroom during that time. Anyway, so she gave me a bowl haircut and a tail. I call it the jellyfish haircut. And I was like, what is this? What in the world is this? And then of course, after all that, she was like, do you like it? Like, what do you think? Isn't this so cool? And I did not flip out because I'm not that type of person. I'm definitely a people pleaser. So I was like, it's not what I expected. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this tail, And then so she was like, oh, okay. Well, it's very edgy. It's very cool. And yeah, so oh my gosh, your comments are funny. So yeah, so then at this point, like there's no way to save my hair, right? Unless you give me a wig. So I was like, okay, all right. You can't save this, Obviously you love it. So take a picture for your lookbook because that's what you want, right? Chop off this tail and then give me like a faded bob, like give me some layers so that it's meant to look like a bob rather than, this jellyfish bowl haircut. So yeah, that's what happened. I wish I had a picture to show you right now. I didn't even think about sharing this story until like, 10 seconds ago. But yeah, that's the second shortest my hair's ever been. I had a jellyfish haircut. So that's always a funny story I tell to people. So whenever someone, basically the moral of the story is, if someone asks you for a free haircut, say no. Say no, unless you are willing to live with the consequences. Like seriously, because you might get a jellyfish haircut. Okay? Oh my goodness. Hello there. Yeah, there's nothing perfect about a tail. Oh my gosh, Linda, you had a tail? No, wait, stop. Stop. Are you talking about a tail or a bob haircut? Please tell me you had a bob haircut, not a tail. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. So, anyway, on that note, did anyone see the solar eclipse today? I don't know if any of you live in the path of totality, right? They call it. I was in Chicago. It was about 94%, 97% totality. And what's amazing is that even though it was only like, in the 90s, like even just that little bit of light still lit our place, like, and then just that little bit of, like from 94 to 100%, then it goes into total darkness or like, almost darkness. Like it's crazy how it really only, the sun only needs to provide just a little bit of light, and and you can see the whole world, you know? So I don't know, that just kind of got me in like a thinking, reflective kind of mood. But it also helped me to get inspired because I was like, oh, what if I paint moons today? And what's funny is that my last name, well, my married last name is also Moon. Did you know that? So Ra, R-A, is actually my maiden name. So that's why it's called Audrey Ra Design, because I established this before I got married. So yeah. So I think, yeah, I think moons is the way to go today. Oh, I'm surprised I didn't paint moons like more like earlier. So yeah. Anyway, I do want to start with a little bit of breathing though, because sometimes I forget, and it's always important to kind of start with that. So get into a comfortable position. Let's do a little bit of our breathing, and then we'll dive into painting. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, let me bring us back together. Okay, let me try to catch up on some of your comments. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, Linda. So you earthquake last Friday? Oh no. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, you're right. There was an earthquake. Oh my goodness, are you all right? Oh my goodness, Stacy. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, I hope everything's okay. I know you've been through a lot this year, Stacy. I know you had surgery and now this earthquake. Oh man, I hope you get a win soon. I hope you get a win soon. Um, okay. Well, thank you also still for making time to come to my live streams. Like I'm really honored that you guys choose to spend your, evenings, or, if you're catching the replay, even just watching that. Like I really, really appreciate that. I don't take your time for granted. So yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, if you're watching this though, please give this video a like. Let's push it up in the YouTube algorithm. And yeah, as always, I really, really appreciate everyone's support. Okay. Oh, your horse. Oh my gosh. Oh, your horse. I think you meant house. Oh my goodness. Oh no, but I hope your horse is okay too. Oh man. Yeah. Oh boy. There's always, like, yeah, we always need to be, yeah, just like mindful of like, like what other people are going through. I think sometimes I forget, and sorry, I was looking for my clips, and of course I don't have a single clip on me. That's all right. Yeah, just being mindful of other people, because I think like sometimes I get too like, focused and on my own life, and and it's important to remember, yeah, that you're not alone, you're but also the other sense where you're not the center of the world either. All right. So, okay, that's good, Stacy. Oh, I'm glad it's okay. Okay, maybe we'll just kind of like chat and, paint today. I am feeling a little bit OCD today. So, all right. So I think I'm going to use this to just kind of like mark where I want my circles to be. So 1.5, 3. Hold on, I did this wrong. Come on. I realized I need to figure out, oh, too much math. Math isn't mathing. Okay, so 1.5. Five. Oh no, I was about right. So if I do that, I can fit. You know what? Forget it. I'm just gonna do whatever circles I want. I thought about making like a whole grid, but I was like, I don't have time for that. I don't have the patience for that today. So there's one. Maybe I'll even do like different sizes too. Who knows? Yeah, but did anyone catch the eclipse? Just curious if you guys saw it. I'm going to do a smaller circle here just because I can. I forgot to turn on my phone camera. Oops. Okay, here we go. So I did buy, or not buy, I did get glasses last year, but then I think in the process of like moving and stuff, I didn't keep my glasses. I'm pretty sure I threw them out. And so I had to DIY something this year. And, you know, that's okay. Like, I think it kind of turned out all right. I just used a box, some aluminum foil, and then you know, made some tiny holes, and that was that. And then I still got to see, yeah, almost 100% totality. Wasn't complete, but I feel like I could have fit more circles, but that's enough for now. This is like so not, you know, clean, but I don't care. Ooh, okay. That's really cool that you guys got to see it. Hi, S. You saw it for a little bit. That's good. Okay, so like I said, I think I'm just going to paint moons today, you guys. So it's going to be a lot of wet on wet technique. And I do have my metallics. Oopsies. Because why not? I'm thinking of painting the moon in like different colors though too, because you know, sometimes you get that super moon and it looks like almost reddish or orangish or pinkish, right? And then you have kind of like a bluish moon too. Sometimes it looks green. So I'm just going to take some creative liberty and paint the moon in lots of different colors. So let's do it. I'll just do the first one like regular style, regular boring style. Just kidding, it's not boring. Oh, Keith, you're in Manhattan. Oh my gosh, you felt the earthquake there too. Oh my goodness. You didn't have glasses and you're, oh my goodness. Okay, oh, so you didn't have the glass. Oh, back to the eclipse. So you're scared to damage your eyesight. Yeah, you should not be looking at that. Yep. Hi, Gaddy. Am I using watercolor or gouache? I am using watercolor today. Yep. I'm using watercolor because it will, you know, I mean, I can use gouache for the wet on wet effect too, but I think watercolor will do better. But actually, fun fact, so I'm using the brand Holbein, and the Holbein brand actually does not contain an ingredient that most other watercolors contain, which is oxgall. So oxgall is what makes the watercolor paint disperse in water. And because Holbein watercolors doesn't have oxgall, it tends to not spread as easily. And so all that just means is that it allows for a little bit more control, you know, over like where you place your paint and how far it travels. And so people, because Holbein is a Japanese brand, they actually like that because then they have, yeah, just more control over it. And so I personally kind of like it too, because yeah, as you can see, like, you know, I'm putting paint down, but it's not like escaping from me so drastically. So yeah. Mm-mm. And so you're able to even with the wet on wet have a little bit more control over like what it looks like. Oh, I know that my light is probably making it look really shiny, but yeah, there's the first one. And you know, you can always go in there with some more, you know, color, or if you want to create more effects, like use salt or alcohol or, you know, something to um, to make that, I don't know, just more interesting looking. But I think I'm for good for now. Maybe just a little bit more, just pigment, but nothing too crazy. So because Holbein Watercolors doesn't have Oxgall, they actually sell it like separately. So if you want to have, you know, um, that effect in your paints, then you can add that to your watercolors, but it's not necessary. Oh, look how pretty that is. Love it. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah, so glad everyone's watching. Thank you so much for being here. I love that you guys are kind of coming out and talking, and yeah, I'm meeting new people today, like Gaddy. I don't think I've seen you here before, so thank you so much for being here. You don't have to be shy. Okay, let's do this one kind of like ooh, like what about like a reddish kind of, let's see, what about some pink? Oof. Ooh, that's gonna be pretty. Ooh, let's do that. Okay, how about some brown? Let's get some light pinkish tones in there. Oh, that came out to be more coral. That's okay. I love this, just the wet on wet effect. Like I don't use it that often, but for something like, yeah, for something like this, it's just perfect. Let's add a little bit more of the darker browns. Yeah, the key to a good wet on wet is also that you don't, you know, use very wet or runny paint either. So if you know, if your paper is really wet and then you also go in there with very runny paint, that's when you're going to see the color being diluted way too much. So I actually have a video about paper wetness and how to tell how wet your paper is. There's actually a guy who came up with like the whole scale of 1 to 6 of like how wet your paper is. So definitely check that out. It's part of the beginner watercolor exercises playlist, and it's video number 3 where I talk about wet on wet. So yeah. All right, what color should this be? You guys give me some ideas in the chat. Let me know what color I should do these moons. I know I can use basically any color, but if you have a specific color, let me know. it's really also really cool when you see the wet on wet and you see granulation. I don't know if you guys can see this here. Let me try to hold it up. So you can see that, oh yeah. So you see like this black and this like grayish area. It's granulated where you can like really see the, oh, let me try to focus. Like you can really see the texture of the paper, and it almost looks like it's like sunk in to the deeper grooves of the paper. So not all paints will do that. Some paints will do that, and it just depends on, you know, how they were made, what pigments they have. And it's not necessarily a good or bad thing. Like some artists prefer granulating colors and some artists hate it. So it's, you know, hit and miss. But yeah, I'm kind of in the middle. Like I kind of like it when it happens, but I'm not like mad about it if it doesn't happen. Okay, so I'm gonna make this one kind of just grayish. Maybe I'll add some blue. Now, you don't have to use the wet on wet for every single one of them. You can kind of start with color and then, you know, fade it out. So it's not, you know, so I'm starting out with color in this one. I'm just going to do like half. I'm going to fade it out. So you can do that too, especially if you want like really pigmented, like a really pigmented area. You know, so now I just faded it out all the way. Maybe I'll add just a little bit more so it doesn't seem so like half and half. And then on the other side, right, you can add some more color. I don't think this is a very realistic moon, but that's okay. I'm just having fun here. And that's all that matters. Hi, Martel. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, you love moons. Yay. Yeah, like I said, this is not really a moon. This is more of like, I don't know, a marble. But it's all right. We're just having a good time. All right, let's do some more. I really like this brownish color. I think I'm going to add some red this time, maybe. So whenever I want to, you know, not have the paint spread too much, I usually grab it directly from the palette. And that way, you know, there isn't a lot of water on it, and it's going to give you a lot of pigment. And so if I want to release some of that pigment, then that's when I use the mixing area to kind of, you know, dilute it a little bit. Ooh, that looks like, this looks more like a planet. Maybe I'm making planet rather than moons. I don't really know. All right, guys, one page down. Again, thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a like. let YouTube know that you like my content. Ha ha ha. Okay, I think I'm gonna do some pink ones. I love the like pinkish, like super moons. It's really crazy how, yeah, like when you see the super moon, like the moon is just so much bigger, like so much bigger. That also reminds me of that scene in Bruce Almighty. Have you guys seen that movie where Jim Carrey's character, he plays God, or he gets to be God for a little bit, and he ends up, um, or he wanted to impress his wife, and so he decided to like bring the moon like really close to their house, and yeah, but then he ended up causing a lot of a lot of disruption all around the world because the moon affects a lot of the, I don't know, the environment. And so that was just kind of funny. But anyway, and she just goes, "Oh my gosh, like I've never seen a moon that big." I really like that movie. And Evan Almighty, I feel like they both did a really good job. Just in the acting, the storytelling. Yeah. Okay, now I wish I kind of had some salt because that will add like so much cool textures. But meh, I'll just have to live with it. Yeah, he lassoed the moon exactly. It was so funny. Uh, like I know that's not, a real thing, obviously, but it's just so funny. I think it was also funny when he created that computer program to answer everyone's prayers, and then he just like answered yes to all of them, right? And then everyone like won the lottery, and so they only ended up winning like $11. That was also kind of funny. I was like, oh, that actually kind of sucks though, because like then they don't really, like they didn't really win anything. Oh, I love adding like these like little bits of colors. Kind of like these like earth toned ones. I don't know why. Hmm, really cool. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? Because we did have a an eclipse, I'm gonna do a couple that are just that sliver, like a crescent moon. Because, that's just your standard kind of moon too, right? So let's do that. Cool. Hmm. Let's do hmm. Let's do a gold one. Like just gold. Okay, I kind of like this like rose goldish, or no, this is not the rose gold. This is the like copper, I think. Like, yeah, I think this is like the copper color. Let's use this. Look how pretty that is. Oh my gosh. Ooh. What I love about these metallic colors is that, you know, because they're also technically watercolors, you can still, you know, dilute them and water them down, and then, yeah, just use them like real watercolors. It's really cool. So I can still add those like cool wet on wet effects even with this. Oh, now I want to add some to this one. Ooh, yes, perfect. I'm going to add some to this moon too, just because they're both like earth colors. You can't really tell in this one until I probably lift it up and then, you know, tilt it towards the light. But I'm just adding just little touches of it here and there. Ooh. Okay. Let me erase these pencil lines because they're kind of distracting. It's like, why didn't you complete the circle? There we go. Now it looks more intentional, right? Okay. All right. What other colors, you guys? You guys didn't give me any colors. Let's see. Oh, I didn't do a green one. I said I would do like a greenish one. Okay, how about this? I have a bunch of this beautiful bluish green color right there. Oh, so pretty. Let's do a moon in that color. Okay. You know, speaking of my last name, so I walked into Blick the other day, and he, you know, asked for my account number so that, you know, I could get reward points and whatever. And then, you know, my name pops up, right? And he was like, "Oh, you have such a cool last name." And I was like, "Oh, Moon?" He's like, "Yeah, that's so cool." And I was like, "Oh, well, thank you. I didn't choose it." And he's like, "Oh, is that your married last name?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And you know, and he was just like, "Okay, well, that's still really cool. Then your husband has a really cool last name." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I know." But then I told him that the Korean word for it is not that cool. I actually don't know exactly what the Korean like meaning is exactly, because I don't remember the Chinese characters for it, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't mean moon like this kind of moon. so he was so he was a little disappointed. He's like, "Oh, well, at least in the English, you know, language, it looks, you know, it sounds really cool." I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'll hold on to that." So that was kind of funny too. I think a lot of people actually say that when they see my last name. And then so for a moment, I actually thought about, you know, changing my business name yet again to, you know, something that has to do with moon. But I was just like, ugh, then I have to rebrand. I have to get all these new email addresses, you know, new website. Like, it was just too much of a hassle. So I was like, "Babe, I love you, but I'm not going to change my business name." Meh. And he's cool with that. Yeah. I really do like that blue green one. Oh, it came out so good. Okay. All right. One more, you guys. One more. And then I think I'm going to add just a little bit more detail because it did dry kind of wah wah, you know, because watercolors dries lighter. So you don't see that same intensity that you had when you first laid down the paints. So like even like this blue green one, like as it dries, it's going to look just a little bit, you know, not duller, but just lighter. Yeah, just lighter. So I think I am going to come back to it. Okay, I think the last one I am going to do something with, oh, you know what? Maybe I can add some metallics to this blue-green one too. How about that? How about this beautiful turquoise color? Let's get it in there. Oh, yeah, like I thought. You can barely see it, but that's okay. That's all right. Okay, let's make this last one just green. How about that? Nothing too crazy, just green. Oh my God, you know what? I realized I can just hold my palette like an actual like artist palette. I don't know why I never thought to do that. Now I know why, because it's actually really bulky. Oh, okay, I'll just hold it like this. All right, I have some green here. Let's do it like this. So I'm actually causing some blooms to happen. I don't know if you guys saw that. I actually dropped in some water droplets. It might not take effect just because it's already really wet, but yeah, when you do that, you're going to start to see um, like these really fuzzy lines, and you'll see like pigment being deposited outside of that water droplet area. And that is that's a really cool wet on wet effect as well. I know this is definitely not a moon. Moons are not green, but I'm just having fun, like I said. Okay. Whoo. All right, let's look at this. Let's look at our moons. Very cool. Really awesome. Okay. I am going to add just a little bit more detail, maybe with some metallics. Let's see. Okay, so there was this black color. Remember this? And I was like, why the heck is there black, metallic paint? Maybe it's meant for something like this. I think I'm going to put this on top of like the black here and see how it kind of turns out. Okay, so that was very thick. I'm going to fade that out. I think I'm going to have to use a smaller brush because I'm picking up a lot of pigment and a lot of water. I'm going to go down to a size 2. Where's my size 2 brush? There it is. Okay. Down to my size 2 brush, just so again I can kind of control where I'm placing. I'm being a little bit more intentional about where I'm placing my paints, and then kind of letting it fade out a little bit. And then this is, because I'm not doing the wet on wet method, it's actually going to create some hard edges, but I'm actually okay with that because like it just adds a little bit more texture to your painting. So I'm going to leave that. I'm going to do the same to all of them and just let the paint kind of dry, like with a hard edge. Let's see. And then just adding like, I don't know, not veins, but just adding another darker value layer with hard edges. And even like some dots that will kind of make your moon stand out too. Yeah, like that already looks so much cooler, right? Just a little bit more like hard edges. Awesome. Okay, this one is kind of throwing me for a loop because it looks like the sky. It looks like the sky, but I want it to look like the moon. So, okay, let me think about how I'm going to do this. Let's see. I'm going to, let's see. This is got some Payne's Gray. I thought Payne's Gray might look really nice with this. So, yeah. Yep. Kind of water that down and then fade out those edges too. Yes. Sometimes you have an idea in your head and it doesn't always turn out, right? And then sometimes it does. It's like right now this is turning out, and so I'm very happy. I'm also using a little bit of the dry brush technique. So I'm using just whatever leftover pigment and water is on my brush and just letting that continue to fade out. Again, that also creates some texture as well. Oops, too much water. Oh, thank you, Linda. Yes, please like this video. I really appreciate that. Appreciate the shout out. You guys are the MVP, seriously. Okay, this one's not my favorite, but that's okay. I think what I'm also going to do is maybe darken this black even more. So I'm going to go in there with just pure black with not a lot of water so that it's a very thick and dark value, and just really darken one end. Okay, didn't really make much of a difference. That's okay. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, I really like how these are turning out. I think what's cool about watercolor is that you can, just add layers and layers, and you can basically control how it turns out by being very strategic about your layers. Like when you first saw the circles as they were drying, like they look pretty cool, cool blends. That's awesome. But then you add this second layer, and then suddenly you have texture, you have multiple values, you have these hard edges, and it looks way cooler than it did when it just had that first layer, first and only layer, right? So never give up on watercolor, seriously. Like, you might think like, oh, it looks kind of boring. Add a second layer. Wait for it to dry. Add that second layer and be very, strategic about it, right? I'm not adding a second layer to the whole moon, only to certain, certain parts. And you might be really, surprised at what happens because you did that. Oh, it looks so like magical. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of this rosy color too. Well, it's a little orangey, but that's okay. Let that fade out. Cool. Okay, so I think these are okay. I'm going to leave the metallic ones as is. I'm just going to touch up this green one. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh my goodness. Do you guys see that shine in that turquoise? Ooh. I am so happy. Ugh. Ugh. Okay, hold on. I gotta see how this black turned out. Okay, see the black sparkles? I don't really see them. Hmm. Okay. You know what I'm gonna do to that one? Because that one's one of my favorites. I'm gonna add just the slightest touch of gold. Slightest, slightest, slightest. Here we go. I'm gonna use this one. Just the slightest. I'm gonna kind of like outline certain parts. When I said slightly, I really meant slightly. I'm just kind of, it's as if I'm adding like veins to this. Ooh. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me see if I can bring it up for a closer look for you guys. Let me show my phone. Okay. You see that? Just the slightest touch, right? Ooh. Okay. I'm so excited with how this turned out. Okay. Let me put this aside. All right. Well, what do you guys think? Do you guys have a favorite? Left page or right page? You guys tell me. Left page or right page? Vote. Or let me know in the chat or let me know in the comments which one you like more. Left page or right page? Man, it's really hard. I mean, I like them both for different reasons, right? Left one I like because they look more like your traditional moons, right? Whether it's the super moon or the blue moon or your moon, right? And then the one on the right, I've got like crescent shapes, so that looks pretty cool. And I've got bright colors like green and pink, so that makes it look very interesting and vibrant. Yeah, both. Oh, that's cheating, Keith. Right, right, left, left. Oh, now it's tied. Let me know in the comments too which one you guys like, left or right. All right. Well, as always, take some time to, marvel at your work and really be proud. And if this was your first time painting moons or, if they turned out a little weird, like that's okay. Like I said, let that first layer dry because that's kind of like your background. And then you can always add on top of it, which I always suggest that people do. So add that second layer, add that touch of metallics, and maybe it'll start to take form, and there might also be some that you don't like for example, I said that I don't like this one, and that's okay too. Not everything's going to turn out perfect, and just more and more we have to be okay with that. So okay, let me hold it like this for a screenshot. Yay. So thank you again so much for being here. Here it is again. Yeah. You guys really are the best. I always love coming live and spending time with you. Yeah. Yeah, I really, really appreciate you guys. Make sure to follow me on other social media channels, right up here, Audrey Ra Design. And if you want to support my project, or this project going live, or just support me financially, please check out my shop. I have an online shop. I sell greeting cards, notepads, stickers, art prints, and they're all printed right here in my studio. Or if you just want to give a quick, tip, you can tip me at ko-fi.com/Audrey Ra Design. As always, thank you so much. I will be live next Monday, April 15th. So I'll see you then. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.